How are your Blues doing?
Not great.
I thought I saw did I see something that, like, one of their best players got hurt recently?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't paid much attention in the last couple of weeks because of moving and everything. And
Oh, that's fine.
that's unfortunately the sad reality of moving is, man. And with the holidays, there just wasn't time to really do shit.
I mean, that's fair. You can't always follow your team.
Yeah, just for funsies, I do know that they're below 500 still. So just for funsies, let me just look them up here. Let's just take a little peeksies here.
But, okay, hold on. You have to remind me because I'm not good with hockey, like, where are they even at in the season? Are they, like, mid-season right now or, like, early season still?
Yeah, no, this is about the halfway point, actually. Usually, like right around New Year's Day, they'll have the Winter Classic where they play outdoors, and then basically, later on in the month they do like the All Star break where it's like skills challenges and the All Star games, which they've been kind of playing around with different types of formats for that. Like they've recently have had like I don't even remember what they did last year, but they've broken it into like four teams that they make like a round robin tournament out of, and it's I want to say it's like 3-on-3, or they do some special rules. Like, and I have no clue what they're doing this year. Unfortunately, I haven't really had a lot of time to watch hockey, but
Are they doing the Canada thing again? Where Canada or what was that thing called where it was like they
yeah,
played
the
Canada,
like the
US?
hockey's World Cup.
Yeah. What
I
was that thing called? Do you remember?
no,
It was like the
was it not World Cup? I don't know.
no, not World Cup. It was like I don't even
The hell
remember.
was that called?
It kind of had like a very like vanilla name, but it's so vanilla that none of us remember it.
Yeah, that was I think last year was the first year that they did that though. It was a whole different thing.
And that was in lieu of the All Star game, or they still had the All Star stuff. You remember?
I want to say it might have been in lieu of it last year, and then they had like the skills competitions and like random shit, but I don't remember specifically. Man, holy shit! It's only been a year, man, and I feel like my entire brain is just zapped from exactly like what happened last year.
Well, I mean
Yeah, there was no All Star game. Sorry, I was just looked this up because it's
you're
pissing
good.
me off. I got the answers to your questions now. There was no All Star game, which I was pretty certain about, and the tournament was called the Four Nations Face Off. That's what it
That's
was.
it.
And now
Yeah,
that I
Four
hear that, I'm
Nations.
like, how the hell did that not come to my freaking mind here?
I
But you
mean,
know what?
it's a
That's
vanilla
how
name.
it goes.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
vanilla name.
So I don't believe I don't believe they're gonna do something like that this year as far as like the Four Nations go.
Yeah, because I
International
remember
kickoff event for the Winter Olympics is what they're doing this year,
the Olympics or the
featuring an NHL send-off for players heading to Italy, though details of the exact event remain fluid.
oh, it's in
So it sounds
Italy.
like they don't know what the hell they're doing. It sounds like they have no clue what they're doing. It
We
sounds
know
like there
just
was
as
an
much as
all-star
them.
Yeah, there was an all-star game planned, it sounds like, that was canceled. And again, replaced with this kickoff event to send the players off to the Winter Olympics. And that's
Okay.
another thing, Deeb. I don't know, like, I know obviously you haven't watched as much hockey as I have in the past. And clearly I feel like I haven't watched enough recently to know what the hell I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
one thing that's really interesting is that the Olympics occur like right in the middle of the season in February. And so they don't always play. Like the best stars sometimes don't play because they don't want to get hurt playing in the Olympics and then not, and then they would miss basically, like the playoffs and things like that. Because it sounds like the Olympics event is in February and usually playoffs start in like May.
So they take time off from the NHL to go play in the Olympics, basically. And
Yeah,
they're
I think that,
allowed to.
well, most of them I think don't play anymore if they're on like competitive teams. But yeah, it's like hockey's weird, man. They always have like kind of a break in the winter, like in the middle of the season. Typically it's for like all stars, like skills events where they do like, fastest time skating around the ice or like the most accurate shooter. And they have like targets that you're trying to hit and like just random
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
Yep. I think I've watched it. I feel like I've watched one of the All Star games at some
yeah,
point.
the skills competition is actually kind of fun just because I feel like hockey athletes have a different mentality compared to most athletes. But yeah, I don't know, man. These are good questions and things I need to go follow up on. I know that there's typically a break, but I don't know how long the break is for the Olympics. I don't feel like they take that much time off.
Hmm.
I can actually check. Let me check I had the Blues pulled up here. Let me check their schedule if I can see it
Yeah.
and see if there's like a noticeable gap.
Because hockey has like a similar timeline as basketball, right?
Very
Similar-ish.
similar.
Like,
Yeah, very, very similar. They start like in the exact same, like within a week or two of each other, and they usually end within a week or two of each other.
Hmm.
All right, I'm looking
Yeah.
through. So in January, games look pretty normal 16, 18, 20. Yeah, they keep playing. And then the Olympics are in February. Yeah, there is a break. So they play on the 2nd and the 4th of February, and then they don't play again until the 26th. So there's like a 3-week break there for the Olympics.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that they took breaks, but then I know in the past they've like players have not gone because of hockey season. So I wasn't sure if they took the full time off, but apparently they do.
Well, you learn something new every day, don't you?
Yeah. Dude, I hope so. And I hope I can commit it to memory. I got to say, this move, we've moved a lot, like, that, but this move, we just moved on Saturday. It's Tuesday right now, right?
Yeah.
And I think you probably know this too. I'm kind of this way, but Raven is very much like, let's get it all unpacked and just be done with it. And so the move hasn't there hasn't been a rest yet. And I just feel like I'm completely brain dead right now, but it is nice to be in a new location. I love our new house. Everything feels a whole lot better. It's like the concept we want. I even feel like Obi, my dog, seems more comfortable and happier, which is like a silly thing to say. But all pros so far, no cons, except dude, I'm just so tired. And so if I act a fool tonight, if I say anything, just out of the, I don't know, just completely out of whack, just call me on it, because I might have a slip of tongue, or yeah, the bourbon makes it all better, right? It sure does. And
Well, I was going to say it's not the bourbon tonight.
yeah, or maybe a combination of the two. Who knows? But speaking of that, I did open a new bottle tonight for the new house, and so I'm sipping on one we've had many times. But I've got the Taylor small batch, and it's tasting delicious, man. It's taking the edge off of the tired, and it's making me feel a little bit, cozy.
Is that the one we got from the trail this year?
Yeah, I just opened it, so it's the only bottle from the trail that I hadn't opened yet, and I was kind of saving one to open after the move, just to kind of have like a post-move bottle, and here we are having that sip tonight.
Well, you'll like this. So I'm actually sipping the Wild Turkey Private Select, the one from last year, because I have maybe a couple, like, it's at the very bottom of the bottle. And my thought was, this is getting released into a new year. So new episode, new us, all this. And since we bought the new Private Select from this past year, I wanted to go into the new year celebrating by finishing the old bottle.
You know what? I really like that. And since you said it, let's just cheers to you, and a happy new year to anyone who hears this, because this will be 2026 when this episode is out. Even I have a whole nother day and a few hours until New Year's, but exciting, man. There's a lot of things coming up here that I think this year is going to be a really special one. And I have been given permission to drop an announcement bomb tonight, Deeb. I know you and I have talked about this already, but
I'm scared.
We have an addition coming to the family. We got another baby boy coming June 2026, and probably May. Let's be honest. We were a couple weeks early last time, and his due date is June 1st. But we actually get to go do the anatomy scan tomorrow, and so I'll get to get a lot of fresh imaging and really get to see like his face and everything. So super pumped for that. Really excited. Things are moving quickly, and that's another reason for the move. Right? We went from a house with 3 bedrooms that were all occupied to now a house with 5 bedrooms. So really looking forward to welcoming another little guy. But as you know, there's going to be a lot more of this type of exhaustion moving forward. But another sports fan here in the household soon.
Hell yeah. Well, cheers to that. I know, I think you told us earlier. So obviously I'm a trusted individual who hasn't leaked. I haven't leaked your files, online.
There's no leaks here. This guy doesn't leak. He's an above average dude.
Yeah, no leaks. No WikiLeaks are online about this announcement. But congrats, guys. That's awesome. Well, cheers to that.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. And I know Raven will listen, so I love you, babe. And that'll be the end of my sappiness. But definitely wanted to kind of share the news. It's a big, important thing in my life. And that's a big part of why we moved when we did. And we're finally getting to that stage where we're about to be settled and able to relax a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I know we were kind of hinting at things about, you moving and all that kind of stuff. But now I think maybe people are putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yep. Yeah, it all makes sense once you hear all the angles here. But yeah, life is good, man.
Well, I think welcome everybody to the Single Barrel Sports Podcast. Hopefully, if you've been with us for the last few minutes, you've realized what you've clicked on. Moving into 2026, we're going to take a little different approach. So this is a little bit more of what you're going to see, more convo, more fun stuff. But the one thing that we always do like to mention, Scott, is to hit the subscribe or like button and check out singlebarrelsports.com. We're not going to plug stuff all day, every day, but we do want to just let people know where to find stuff if they're interested. And we have all sorts of clips and social media out there.
Yeah. And drop us a comment if you want to see anything in particular moving forward. I know one thing we're going to change moving forward is a new podcast song, Deeb, that we're going to put together. We do a lot of music stuff, and we have in the past worked together on some songs.
Yeah.
And so, hey, for old time's sake, let's just hit the old one right now. Pat McAfee said today, "We got our guy."
How many sixth graders would it take to beat LeBron James in a game? Ready for the ultimate sleepers?
Shedeur Sanders went number 144 in the draft. Okay, well, enough of that. What are you going to talk about tonight, Deeb? What's on your mind?
Well, the number one thing on my mind that I need to hear your reaction to as a Michigan fan is that Michigan hired Kyle Whittingham. So tell me your thoughts.
Ecstatic. I think it was one of the first names I had sent to our group text, if you remember, because I had seen that he was leaving Utah right around the same time that this whole controversy happened. And, he's an older coach that has a really clean record, no controversy. Players seem to love him. He, before NIL, was able to kind of get some decent recruits and make a pretty successful program for a program that's not in the Big Ten or the SEC. And I think right now that's what we need, is some stability in a likable coach and somebody that players will gravitate towards with a program that has the history and notoriety that we have. So I think he's 66 years old, but he seems full of energy. I've seen some people commenting on his age and saying, this guy's got at least 5 or 10 years left, and we signed him to a 5-year contract. And hey, I hope for the best. My big thing here is let's not lose the players we have. We have a very young and talented team that just needs some development time. Bring in a stable coach, someone who doesn't have a history of controversy. Let's see what we can do with this thing. And so far, Deeb, initial reactions look pretty promising. It doesn't seem like we're going to lose too many players, including some that people thought might be leaving and have all kind of started to come around. So I think we'll lose a few. Underwood is he's on board, it sounds like. So
yeah,
I don't know if Underwood's the permanent answer to the program, but let's give the guy some more time, and we can always try and recruit more QBs. And I think we do have a pretty decent recruit coming in, like a 4-star maybe. But what are your thoughts, man? I know you're kind of loosely affiliated. I know your wife is a Michigan fan, and a lot of your friends, including myself, are. What are your thoughts with this hire?
Well, generally speaking, like I know the guy a little bit because obviously he was coaching in the Pac-12 when that was a thing. So I recall seeing Utah, back in the day when they played Oregon. I did look this up because I was just generally curious, but he went, looks like 4-7 against Oregon during his time there. So
you're hoping that trend continues.
He also is 0-2 versus Dan Lanning so far. I don't know if that'll, continue to play out, but we'll see. Just kind of curious what the competition looks like. They did win 2 Pac-12 titles. So, generally speaking, I feel like he's got a reasonable resume. The biggest thing is I just hope that this is truly controversy-free, and it seems like that's the theme they were going for here, but you just never know, unfortunately, these days. And so he seems like a pretty reasonable guy, but I think a lot of people thought that about many coaches out there who find snow bunnies out in the wild.
Well, I would say to that point, Dave, is that you would think an older, well-established and successful man would not have, controversy start calling his name. And then you remember guys like Robert Kraft and the scandals that he got into, the massage parlors and everything else. And he's much older than Whittingham is. So never say never, but I'm feeling very optimistic. I think this was close to the best case scenario. There might be a couple of coaches that I would have been excited about in addition to Whittingham, but he was always in my kind of top 5 to go chase, I think, just because of the circumstances of him leaving Utah right around that time and making himself available.
Well, I thought he was retiring. I didn't think he was actually looking for a job. That's why I was so confused. I was like, okay, so is he retiring or not?
Yeah, that was my recollection as well, that the words he used was retirement. But when you have the winningest program in college football history calling your name, maybe you coach another 5 years and put on the blue. Maybe you do that. I don't know.
Cue the Ohio State fans in the comments after that comment there.
Well, we're used to that. They're going to say they make podcast equipment too cheap these days because that's the only thing they must teach these people in Ohio.
Well, I will just mention this, and please, everybody out there, take this as a joke because it is, but he apparently is a BYU graduate. I believe he's a member of the Mormon faith.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that, but Utah kind of adds up.
So, yeah, and I think they may have also didn't they steal a coordinator from BYU? Was it the defensive coordinator or someone like that?
I saw some rumors about that, and I don't know if that's confirmed, but certainly that. And I think he was maybe going to bring some of his coordinators from Utah. That was kind of, again, in the rumor mill. But the thing that I was really pumped about was there's a 5-star offensive tackle that was kind of reacting to the change and in a way that made it kind of seem like he might want to follow suit and come to Michigan. And It made me think, man, some of these players that he coached that were good, because Utah's been a competitive program.
Yeah.
Let them come, man. We'll take some more. The more, the merrier.
Well, I don't think he practices the old school version of Mormonism from the 1800s, but if he did, Scott, then he might be into polygamy. So he might be the perfect fit.
Maybe that's why they got him. They're like, you know what? It wouldn't even be a controversy if this guy was fooling around with other ladies. Who knows?
They're just playing chess. They're like, well, just in case something happens.
Just in case this guy also likes to have multiple women. Let's just make sure he's a Mormon.
Jesus, dude, that would be wild.
I've never thought of that until you just said that, and that is actually so funny, and it definitely has a lot of irony in it. I'm gonna make that joke for sure.
Well, like I said, no offense, no. Hopefully, no one is offended by that, but just saying, kind of adding 2 and 2 together and getting 11. So.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh boy. But yeah, man, I'm pumped about the Michigan thing. I want to see it play out. I think that this team, if not this coming year, the year after, can definitely contend right at the top. And man, I'm hoping that everything works out exactly how I've been praying that it would. Because man, it sucks not watching them in the playoffs this year, especially after I was pretty strong on my stance that they will make the playoffs, and then they didn't.
Yeah. Well, speaking of playoffs, week 18 of the NFL is coming up, and man, there's a lot of things coming down to the wire right now.
There are.
One of my favorite ones is that the Bucks and the Panthers are playing basically to get first place in their division, and they're both have not that great. They really don't have that great of overall records, which is kind of crazy that they're both vying.
I think they're both like 8-8. I want to say they're both 8-8.
Something like that.
It is by far going to be the worst NFC team. You got to think the Packers are already locked in. I think they're like 9-6-1 or something. So no matter what, even if the Packers lose this week, they'll have a better record than the division winner in the South, and that's kind of crazy to think about. But it is fun, man, because you have those years where week 18 has nothing to look forward to, right? Like you just don't have any good football. Everyone's either sitting their starters or like it just feels like the people have wrapped up the season or are just waiting for playoffs typically. And we have a lot of games this weekend. You've got the Bucks and the Panthers that are playing for that spot. And on the other side, same exact situation with the Steelers and Ravens, where whoever wins that is going to win that division.
Man, so the Steelers lost to the Browns?
Yes, they did.
Wow.
Yep. They sure did. DeKalen wasn't playing. I don't know if you saw that, but DeKalen Metcalf wasn't playing.
Yeah. Didn't he get suspended?
Turns out if you go over to the sideline and punch a fan in the face, you don't get to play for a couple of weeks. I don't know. That crazy concept there. You can't just go punching fans on the sidelines.
Hey, I mean, maybe they deserved it.
Quite possibly. Meanwhile, that fan is holding press releases now on like picnic fold-out tables. I can't make this shit up, bro. I saw a video of him with like people in suits sitting next to him doing a press conference, talking about how he never made any racial comments, and like also he dropped the name DeKalen again. Like he literally doubled down on the whole reason he got punched. And yeah.
So he just got punched because he called him his first name?
That's at least his side of the story. And I did see a video from another fan where it didn't sound like anything racist was said. It sounded like this guy was just kind of heckling him. So I think DK's side of the story might have been a lie to try and not get suspended. But who knows what actually happened. I haven't seen a clear video that shows the entire encounter.
I thought DK stood for Donkey Kong this whole time.
Well, different DK. Yep, different DK. So playoffs, dude, playoffs.
Well, okay. This is let me pull up this X post just on my screen here and read off because I am just very curious all the different implications.
Yeah.
So the 49ers, 1 seed with a win. Seahawks,
insane.
1
to think
seed
about,
with
right?
a win.
And those two teams play each other this weekend.
Right.
Yeah. So you got,
which is wild.
A huge division showdown where the winner wins the division and the number 1 seed for the NFC and gets a bye. That's premium television. That's what I'm getting at, man. This week 18 feels different. There's some big games like that. Keep going. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're good. You can interrupt anytime. Panthers, and we already talked about that. They will win basically with a win or Falcons win. The Bucks can win the division with a win and the Falcons lost.
And real quick to interject here, that is a new thing this week where the Falcons win or loss matters, and it's only because the Bucks lost this last week and because the Falcons beat the Rams, which I don't think anybody thought would happen. But
the Falcons have a chance or no?
I don't think the Falcons can win the division, but there's like some sort of tiebreaker where if they win, it like helps the Panthers more than the Bucks. I haven't looked fully into it. but there's it has to do with like a tiebreaker between if they all have the same record.
Okay. No, I got you. So they're like a third party. They can third party basically somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of a weird concept if you really think about it, but
well,
I don't
if
know.
you play shooting games, it's not
Fair.
The Bears.
But dude, just real quick to go back to the Bucks. They lost to the Dolphins this week with Quinn Ewers starting at quarterback and Jalen Waddle not playing because he got hurt at the very beginning of the game. Talk about a colossal meltdown, and that is why the Falcons are in play now. If the Bucks would have won that game, this would have been a straight up whoever wins gets into the playoffs.
Wait, why is Ewers starting?
Tua got shut down a couple of weeks ago. And there's not really been specifics about like if that's a permanent thing or if this was just for a few weeks to see what they have with Ewers. But that was a controversy too. Let's go to that really quick here. The Dolphins came out and said, I think it was last week, so not this most recent week, but the week before. Ewers started that week too. And the Dolphins came out and they basically said Tua is being benched for the rest of the year, and Quinn Ewers is the team's new starting quarterback for the rest of this season. And that pissed off Zach Wilson, who was their backup quarterback the whole year. So Quinn Ewers not only took over for Tua, but he also leapfrogged Zach Wilson. As a 7th-round rookie, he's been playing starting QB. He didn't look great his first game. He started out okay, completing a bunch of passes, but he had no touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and they lost. This week, they went against the Bucks, who needed to win the game, and they beat them. They beat the Buccaneers, bro. And Ewers, I think, had 2 touchdowns this time, so quite a better performance, and he led them to a win. And when they had nothing to lose, but he didn't have his number 1 or number 2 receiver on the team with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both being hurt.
I didn't know if Tua got hurt. That's why I was asking, because I know he had obviously had like 20 concussions or whatever. He's like that. Have you ever seen that movie, Not Another Teen Movie, where they spoof all these other movies? He's like that one like giant fat dude that has like a concussion counter or whatever, and he just has like 50 or something, and they're like, he's gonna die.
Dude, literally every time he gets a concussion, they're like, is his career over now? He's had so many, and he just keeps playing. But yeah, he's kind of sucks. I mean, he just kind of sucks this year, and they were not going to make the playoffs, and I think they were just like, well, he kind of sucks. Let's see what we got with this other guy. But their contract situation is a mess. They owe him like tons of money over the next few years, like a lot of dozens of millions.
Does he wear one of those Guardian helmets?
Nope.
Like
he sure
that
doesn't.
guy is a guy that should be wearing one. Let's be honest.
People question him about it, and he's like, personal choice, and like wouldn't elaborate. He just literally was like, personal choice.
Why? Is that what Sharon said?
Maybe.
Anyways, the Bears get a 2 seed with a win or Eagles loss. The Eagles get a 2 seed with a win and the Bears lost. Does that really matter? I mean, do they get home field advantage or something?
Well, the 3 seed is likely going to have to play against the Rams, so you might not want to be the 3 seed. You might want to be the 2 seed.
Yeah, that's fair. Are the Bears playing the Eagles? I didn't even look that up.
Ooh, I don't
think
know.
They are. I feel like
I can check.
Be. No, I don't think they are.
I don't think that they are either.
I don't know though.
I'm pulling up I got my phone out. Bears are playing against the Lions. It's a division game, and it's in Chicago.
Lions,
so it'll be cold.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not confident about the Lions. We'll see. AFC, Ravens division title with the win, which is absolutely wild that they're now here.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing heads up with the Ravens. Whoever wins that game wins the division.
The Ravens play the Steelers.
Or Steelers, yeah.
So Steelers, same thing. Broncos 1 seed with the winner. Patriots lost. Patriots opposite. Fires division title with a win, or Texans loss 1 seed with win, and Broncos Patriot losses. Holy crap!
Yeah,
that's a lot of what.
So they need a lot of what ifs. Yeah, but no matter what, it looks like they're probably going to win that division. Which is, who the hell would have predicted that the Jaguars would win the division over the Texans, Colts, Titans, maybe Titans. Yeah, Titans are the Titans, but the Colts were 8-1 or 7-1 at one point this year. And the Texans are the Texans. They've been good every year recently. So, yeah, the Jags kind of came out of nowhere. And the Jags are playing against the Titans this week. So they are probably going to win that division.
Well, I mean, it's so weird, man. I know, obviously, the Daniel Jones thing plays a big part in it. But, like, we were like, I don't know. I feel like, and maybe I'm a little bit guilty of it, but I know you are for sure. Maybe I'm less guilty. We were definitely like glazing the Colts early on.
Yeah,
like we were just like, are they the best team in football? Are they going to go to the Super Bowl? And then just all of a sudden, Daniel Jones got hurt, and they're like horrific. And I'm just like,
when they were like,
was he that good?
I mean, we used to question it, right? We would talk about it. We're like, is this a fluke? Surely they'll lose soon. Then they were like 6-1, 7-1. And when they're 7-1, I'm just like, well, how the hell is anyone going to catch them now? Like, this would have to be the biggest meltdown of all time. And here they are. They're 8-8. They've literally only won one of their last 8 games. Yeah. They went from being 7-1 to then going 1-7. Like, that's
Dude, that
insane to
sucks.
think about.
That sucks so bad.
I feel for their fans, bro. Like, it just kind of felt like they made the climb this year and they were finally going to be the team that I'm sure their fans want them to be. And now here they are looking like the same old Colts, and they've missed the playoffs after starting 7-1. They're not going to make the playoffs.
That's insane, dude. That
Division be damned. They're not even going to make a wild card. How? Like, how does that happen?
Dude, they have Phillip Rivers at quarterback. Like, let's just think about this for a second. I mean, we were kind of shitting on Joe Flacco earlier a little bit, and he played reasonable, but like they have Phillip Rivers at quarterback, man. Like,
yeah, Phillip Rivers, who's been eating a lot of cheeseburgers, it seems like.
I mean, like, dude, if you have Phillip Rivers as your quarterback, come on, bro. Like, that's rough. That's like, you're so desperate. You're so desperate. And he's like isn't he getting like insurance or something? I feel like it was like some weird scam that I heard.
I don't know if that was a joke or not, but the joke was that when you retire, you get like benefits for 5 years after retiring for your family. So that was the joke that he forwent. I don't know if that's a word. He passed up on being eligible for the Hall of Fame this year to get 5 more years of benefits for his family. And he's got like 10 kids, right? So he needs that.
I was going to say, that's probably worth a lot.
I can't even imagine, man. Holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, but speaking of teams that suck, so tell me about what your thoughts are on the Giants and some of the like
Wait,
what are your thoughts?
Before we go into the current standings, can we talk about, we had the toilet bowl this last week. We had the Giants and the Raiders play. Yeah. And whoever lost that game was going to be eligible for the number 1 overall draft pick, right? Did you see this stuff with Max Crosby that happened last week?
Nope.
Bro, you want to talk about a can of worms? So reporters were interviewing Max Crosby. I forget what day their game was. I think they played Sunday. So they were interviewing him like, I don't know, Thursday or Friday. And they were like, what does the first round draft pick mean to you? And like, do you want your team to lose this game or something like that? And he was just like, I don't give a shit about the pick. My job is to go out there and win. Like, literally, he literally said, I don't give a shit about the pick. So he basically made it clear, like, I'm going to go out there and play as hard as I can. I don't want my team to lose. The next day, I get a notification from ESPN, and it says, the Raiders have put Max Crosby on the IR, ending his season. I'm serious.
Was he hurt?
That was the question. Everybody was like, what the fuck? This guy just said he's going to play really hard. So here's what happened. They said that he needed to have, like, he had a knee injury that was worse than they thought, and he needed to not play football for the rest of the season. So then Max Crosby posted videos of himself on his Instagram taking jump shots and playing basketball at a gym.
I did see that. I didn't know what it was connected to, but I saw the video.
Yeah, dude. So it's basically, he's like trying to like post proof that he's not actually hurt and make the Raiders look like shit because they are tanking on purpose. And they got smoked by the Giants, which kind of further elaborates that this is just a tank job, right?
Yeah. But like, I guess what I'm more curious about is, like, should teams play bad at the end of the year if they're vying for a higher draft pick, or is that just bad sportsmanship?
Oh, you want to ask me that question? Well, I think it's like a double-edged sword. I think there's a strategy to it. It helps you to build for the future year, especially this season. Like, let's take the Raiders for example. I'm going to go on a little bit of a soapbox here. The Raiders, Smith has sucked ass this year, right? Like, there's really no debating that. It seemed like his career was revived a little bit, and he sucks this year. We'll use the big S word. He sucks. The first overall pick this year is guaranteed to get Mendoza from Indiana if they want him. So if the Raiders want to fill that hole, then they should tank, because otherwise another team could take him. And typically QBs have been going number 1 overall, especially in recent years. Now, do I agree with it? No, dude. Fans pay how much money to come sit outside and watch your team play football? And when your team sucks ass and the fans still show up, you should try and give them a product that's worth watching. So I think there's a strategy to it. And yes, it is also bullshit. You're a professional. You shouldn't be rigging the results of the standings to try and help yourself in the future. You should be being a professional. Imagine at our job, let's say we were both pharmacists, and I know neither of us work in like a retail store, but imagine if we were basically like at work one day and it was on a holiday. Let's say it's Christmas Eve. We're forced to work that, even though we don't want to work on that holiday. And so we just like are rude to customers. Okay, let me back this up. We're forced to work there because we're the manager at that pharmacy, right? And we're like, well, screw this. If I'm not the manager, I wouldn't have to work. So I'm going to be rude to customers. I'm not going to fill prescriptions fast enough. I'm just going to do a really shitty job today in hopes that next year I won't be the manager anymore and I won't have to work on Christmas Eve. Like, it's like you're literally not doing your job to have an easier job in the future. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you're literally a professional that gets paid to do this. That's my stance on it. Yes, as a team, as a GM, as an owner, it helps you to get a fun prospect that your fans can rally around. And I can understand maybe wanting something like that. Like, if they drafted Mendoza, which they probably will, then all of a sudden there's like a lot of hype around that team. There's a lot of jersey sales. There's a reason to feel hope, but you still have the worst offensive line, and Mendoza is going to have his whole career blindsided because he's on the Raiders. I don't know.
Well,
that was my soapbox.
Here's where I think it's a little backwards. Okay. Like, this is from more of like a big picture perspective. If your team actually sucks, right? Like, let's just say you're not good. Your players are going out there, they're playing hard, they're actually giving effort, they want to win, whatever. Your coaches are trying to do their best, all that kind of stuff. But like the talent, or there's holes in your, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have a good offensive line. You don't have like the pieces that you need. Your defenses, you need like 2 to 3 more free agents. You need to trade. Like, I think there's just so much more to the game than just the draft. Like, yes, you can get really good players in the draft, but I mean, how many people go undrafted or, get picked in like the 8th, like the 6th round, and they become like Hall of Fame players. So like, I don't know. It's one of those weird concepts, because it just seems like you could be doing all the good things right, but really like you should be almost like focusing on replacing all those pieces that you have weaknesses or gaps on your team, or just trying to figure out what's wrong with your system and why is it not working, right? Like, something's clearly not driving. Maybe you do have the talent, but you have like a couple missing pieces or something.
Yeah, dude. It's like my friend Jordan, who comes on this podcast, said it literally is irresponsible for the Raiders to not draft offensive line / defensive linemen. Like, last year, they chose Ashton Jeanty in the first round, which he was a special talent. He is a special talent, but he looks like garbage on their team. And the crazy thing is, as good as he is, nearly like all of his yards are yards after contact. Like, he literally has to break a tackle just to gain yards. That's, when you think about that, that is insane. So I agree. It's irresponsible to not shore up your line, and you're ruining the start of these young athletes' careers by just taking so many hits. I think they probably would take a quarterback, but I feel like they shouldn't. They need to fix their other issues first.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, there's pros and cons to it, but it's just kind of one of those things where you're like, your team is so mismanaged that you're trying to tank to get a number 1 or number 2 pick, but that number 1 or number 2 pick could be not even work out, or like you still have these other issues on your team that you're not fixing. So like, I get it, the quarterback's super important, don't get me wrong, but like, maybe you fix some of the issues you already have on your team so that when you bring in these other players, they can be set up for somewhat of success. But hey, I mean, I know it sounds easier than it looks, obviously, of how easy that is to do. But
I think the strategy should be, I mean, we're just average sports guys, right?
Above average.
Well, you might be. I think the strategy should be trade that pick to get multiple picks and fill a lot of holes. Even if it's not like superstars, you have so many issues on your team that you need to start filling those holes. And when you fill them with rookies, you save a lot of money in your salary cap, and then you can get some other superstars through that. But who am I? If any NFL owners are watching, feel free to hit me up. I'm GM Scott, here to save your team.
Wow. I know this is random, but I kind of do want to hear about this. What actually happened in your fantasy league? Like, weren't you in like a couple championship games? I was horrible. I was like in 9th place or some shit. So I don't even want to talk about it because it doesn't matter. But I'm curious, because weren't you in like a couple championships?
Yeah, I'm in 3 leagues, and I was in 3 championships, having a fantasy owner's dream year where you just win in every league. But there's one league I care the most about, and it's my dynasty league with some of the guys we've had on the pod before, like Drew, Jordan, Zach, and a bunch of other guys. And I've been in the finals in that league twice. This was my second trip to the championship in 3 years of a dynasty. So pretty happy with that. But that was the only championship that I lost. And I played against Derrick Henry, who scored like 46 points.
A horse.
And I will tell you, if Derrick Henry only scored 30, which still would have been so many, I would have won. But 46 was too many to come back from. And so,
what the fuck? How many touchdowns did he have? Like 10?
4. He had 4 touchdowns.
4?
Yep. And he had like over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns in one game. And fun fact, that was the day that I moved, the day they played. And so I went to bed like during the third quarter because I was just so tired. And then I woke up to a buzz on my phone and I was like, I don't know if I should even look at this. And I looked and it was a Derrick Henry touchdown and that was his fourth one. And I was just like, bro, like there's no way I'm coming back from this. And at that point, I had only had one guy play and my opponent had like 6 guys play. So I was like, I mean, who knows, right? Like none of my team has played. It's possible. I ended up losing by 15. And so, yeah, just kind of a bad beat there playing against, I played Puka the week before and I somehow won. And then I played Derrick Henry this week and I couldn't come over that. But I won in my other 2 leagues and it wasn't even close. So I'm a 2 out of 3 league champion this year, which I'm still happy about, but I would have traded in both of those championships for the other one.
Hey, you can only win so many, average guy.
Fantasy football is something I'm very passionate about.
I think what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to just pay you to manage my team and then I'll give you a profit share because
there we go.
You know, I feel like you have a lot better luck than me. Not to say, again, last couple of years I finished second and third, so I'm not that bad, but like there's just some times where it just doesn't go well.
You know? Yeah. Well, I mean, not to toot my own horn, fantasy football has a lot of luck, where especially when injuries come along or midseason trades, but I do make the championship a lot. And yeah, all 3 leagues this year. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you want to, maybe that'll be a new business model where people can just give me a little bit of money. I'll manage the team. If you win at the end, you can keep the prize money because you've been paying me all season to manage it. You know what I mean?
Dude, just have a subscription. Okay, we might be onto something here. A subscription-based fantasy manager.
I need to get a Patreon for that, right? Let's get a little Patreon going.
You know how crazy that would be though? You'd be in so many leagues if it got popular. Like how would you even do that? That'd be like you'd have to put like a limit.
I feel like you would probably need a limit, and also you would develop a science over time, just to like how to analyze a league quickly and make decisions. Like I already feel like I'm kind of good at that, but like it is tough when you need a quick free agent pickup and you're like, oh, this guy will be available. And in like 2 leagues, of course he is. And then the 3rd league, the one you need him in, someone's got him on their team, right? So it's like, there's not going to be a one size fits all approach to it, but we can workshop this.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, this is very random. I know we've been talking about football, but golf is on my mind because a lot of the group chats are going out, as you've seen about.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited.
Fantasy football golf that we're going to be in, and
fantasy football golf
or fantasy golf. Geez, DraftKings fantasy golf that we do yearly. I think we're going to have like 42 or something people.
Hell yeah.
So far,
dude, I'm pumped, man. It's my sophomore season.
Yeah.
I was a top 5 finalist, or maybe I was in 6. I think I was tied for 5th. I can't remember. Either way.
Yeah.
I got to do better now.
Regular season?
Playoffs. Regular season, I was like 19th. In the playoffs, I thrived.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's fun that everybody makes the playoffs because then you can at least have a chance to win, you know, if you didn't do well in the regular season, which makes it more fun. But what are your thoughts on did you see that Brooks Koepka apparently is no longer with LIV and he's not, I don't know what's happening with him, but I don't know if you saw that. And then apparently Bryson is kind of, I don't know, he had made some statements about how he's unsure. I think his like contract or something is coming up. So there's a little bit of rumors of like, is he going to re-sign? He like made some comment about like, well, I could just honestly like quit everything and just do YouTube moving forward.
He could, but I hope he doesn't. Yes, I saw the Brooks Koepka thing, and I'm really curious how that'll work. I know when this whole split originally happened, when LIV first came about, there was a lot of animosity, and I don't remember the specifics, but I swear I saw somewhere that like there were threats that if these players left, that they wouldn't be allowed back later on. So I'm really curious to see like what is Brooks gonna do? Like, is he done
for LIV
golfing?
Or for PGA?
For PGA. Like if they went to LIV, that they wouldn't be welcome back. I don't think PGA would turn down a name like Brooks Koepka. They definitely, I don't think, would turn down Bryson DeChambeau. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be determined. I hope Bryson comes back to PGA, man. I'd love to see him every single week instead of just at the majors.
Yeah.
You know me, man. I'm a Bryson guy. I know he's got his social media. I know he's animated, but I think having guys like that in the sport is good for it. It draws more views to it. It gets more people involved. And you need some people that are just a little different than the rest of the crowd, in my opinion.
Yeah. And like, I don't like mind the concept of having almost like competing leagues for stuff like this. Like, I get it. I mean, I understand part of the reasoning why, but like, I just feel like LIV is just such a flop. You know what I mean? Like, really like random BS, but I'm telling you, before this whole live thing, like that was probably the first or second season of golf that I got into with
Uh-huh.
the fantasy league. Dude, the competition was wild. Like, I mean, imagine like pretty much it's not like every major, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's just all those guys that are from live that were actually good were all in the running in the PGA every week whenever there was
Yeah.
like a pretty good event. And so it just made it like I think just way more crazy.
You just gave me a thought. There's all this talk about Scotty and his success and kind of mirroring Tiger's career, but there's all these good players that Scotty doesn't compete with most weeks that Tiger had to always compete with. And so that's an interesting thought that I've never really considered in any of those types of debates. It makes you
Yeah.
wonder, like, would obviously Scotty is probably unanimously probably considered the best golfer in the world right now, but would he have
Hmm.
had as much success if all these live players were still playing in the PGA? And it'd be hard to argue that he would, right? Because on any given weekend, any of these guys could win a random event, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, especially if there's a select few, I will say that it's not every single live player, but I mean, like Neiman before he left was pretty good, or he was kind of on like a trajectory. Obviously, Bryson. I mean, Brooks. I mean, he's won 5 majors, so mainly for the majors, he definitely would be. And not to say he doesn't play those, but I'm just saying
Right.
he was more. I feel like in a groove, and he also kind of fell off. To
Well, and they
be
only play
fair,
54 and live, right? So like they're not used to playing
right?
all 4 days, I would assume,
Yep.
until
Yeah.
they come to
Yeah.
the major and then it's like, shit, I got to play a whole nother day.
Cam Smith, he was dude, I mean, he was so close to like being an all-star. Like he could have literally been like a Scotty rival had he I think stayed in the PGA. I mean, that dude was on fire for a while right before he left, and then he left and I don't know, you kind of don't really hear much about him anymore. So I mean, there's like a handful of maybe 10 10 guys, 12 guys max from the live
Hmm.
group that I think would make it way more competitive on a weekly basis if they played every week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is, but I hope some of those guys come back. That would be really cool. I would love to see, especially Bryson. That would be awesome.
Yeah. But sounds like your favorite indoor golf is back. TGL season 2, baby.
Yeah. Was that starting today?
No, I think they played, I'm pretty sure they played earlier this week. It was the 28th. So a couple
Ah,
days
okay.
ago from when we're recording. And it was actually a rematch of the championship from last year. So it was New York
Nice.
versus Atlanta.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm going to blame the move for not knowing that and looking forward to watching TGL because, listen, TGL is cool, man. It's cool. That's how I found Tom Kim, my boy, who I maybe bet on too many times in the fantasy golf league because he's not really that good. But you know what? It's fine. You get to follow these players and get to see them a little more personally. And I really think that's a fun way to get into golf.
Yeah, so something that's a little bit interesting is both Tiger and JT are out in the beginning. I also maybe heard a rumor that Sahith might be out for a little bit because of an injury.
Hmm.
JT, I believe, has had some sort of an injury, and obviously Tiger has had to have, I don't even know, like a million surgeries throughout his career
Didn't he have
now.
like an
If I'm thinking
Achilles
that.
injury? Wasn't this one like, isn't he recovering from an Achilles?
I don't know, man. Every week it's something new with this guy. But so those two are out right now. Sahith, I'm not 100% sure. Like, dude, looking at Tiger's team, he couldn't have picked a worse team, man.
Oh, yeah. Is it not good?
Oh, I mean, okay, so maybe initially, I don't know how far back when they picked the teams. Like, I don't know, like, when they picked them, right? So if they picked them like 3 years ago or something, like, it maybe made a little bit more sense. But let me just I'm going to read who's all on his team just to give you an idea. Okay, so they have Kisner, which is old as fuck, and he like
Yeah.
never plays, so he's just kind of like a random ass dude. Tom Kim, which a couple of years ago I feel like he was better overall, like he was actually like legit, but he kind of fell off this last year a little bit. And then
Yeah.
Max Homa, which also fucking fell off this last year. And then I mean he kind of played okay here and there, like he made a little bit of a comeback, but the talent on that team and the timing just sucks. Like I
Yeah.
feel like they need like a Oberg or something like to like help carry. You know what I mean? I don't
Maybe
know.
Oberg doesn't want to play in the TGL.
He's in it.
Oh, is he? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
there
he's
you
in it.
go.
He's on the. Oh man, I'm bad with the teams. I think he's on the LA team.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Los Angeles. No, not LA. He's on the. Oh god, he's on the like. It's like a blue color. I like remember them by their colors. Maybe it's. Wait, did the Detroit?
He's on the Bay
The
Golf Club.
Bay Golf Club. Oh, damn. The Detroit team is coming next year. Motor City Golf Club.
Nice. Okay. That's an interesting team, the Bay. It's Oberg, Wyndham, Minwoo, and Shane Lowry. That's 4 different countries worth of players there.
Yeah. But, I mean, reasonable talent, though.
Damn, dude. New York that's a stacked team. Fitzpatrick, Fowler, Xander, and Cam Young. That's a stacked little team there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely a few of those players have played well more recently, like Cam Young. But
yeah,
he was also kind of struggling in the last couple of years. So,
yeah. What the hell is Tiger's team? Although I think didn't he have these same people last year? That's probably why he's got them. Yeah. I don't know if Max Homa was there, but the rest were all on that team.
Homa was there, but I guess that's my point. Is like, if they picked the teams like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, then it was good picks. Other than Kisner, I don't know why. I think Kisner's just like his friend or something. Like, you know, buddies with him.
Yeah, that's
but like Homa and Kim were pretty good a couple of years ago, and then they just like fell off the last like year and a half.
Isn't Tom Kim like 21 years old though? Like,
yeah,
maybe he started drinking this year. Who knows?
I don't know, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has a lot of talent, but like he just hasn't been playing well.
He's apparently 23. I just looked, so that joke kind of missed, but we tried.
Yep, but I don't know,
dude. Okay, I have a question for you. This has been something I've been in a lot of group texts talking about, but obviously we're getting to the end of the season. This is a big shift here, but we're going to the end of the season of NFL. Who the hell is going to win the MVP between Drake May and Matt Stafford? Obviously, there's other people in line, but have you seen some of the like comparisons between Stafford and May?
Well, I looked at just some of the odds because I was curious, like who all was in there. Isn't it like him or May, Stafford? Isn't Trevor Lawrence in there? And somehow Josh Allen's in there, right? Too.
Yeah, I mean, Joshy Josh is always going to be there, but yeah, he shouldn't be this year.
That's why I'm saying, like, he's kind of having a
Caleb Williams is also
seen
the
comparisons.
All right, well, first of all, when you look at the odds, it's a 2-man race at this point. It's Drake May and Stafford. Drake May is minus 330 to win on DraftKings. Stafford is plus 250. And then Lawrence is plus 20,000. So it's like a huge gap.
Wow.
But I guess that makes sense, right? Because there's only 1 week left.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, so like obviously the Patriots are having a phenomenal year, and so is Drake May. And Stafford is having a phenomenal year, and the Rams were also, and they've lost a couple of games recently that have kind of hurt him. In my opinion, well, you tell me what you think about this, but I think the NFL values team records way too much for MVP voting. And that was evidenced by 2 years ago that Josh Allen didn't get it and Lamar did. And then last year, Josh Allen did get it when I thought Lamar or Joe Burrow were probably more valuable than him. So
yeah,
when you look at it like that, I'm going to go through some stats here. I took a picture of this specifically because I wanted to talk tonight.
Yeah.
Total touchdowns. Stafford has 42 to Drake May's only 34. So that's a big win there.
That's crazy.
Total yards is closer. Stafford 44-48 to 42-03. So that's pretty close. Rushing yards, Drake May has 409 to Stafford's -2. -2 is crazy. Is
that a sack?
I guess. I don't know. So for total yards, actually, so I'll just go by who's winning each of these categories. Stafford's winning total touchdowns and passing yards. Drake May is winning rushing yards, total yards. Drake May is winning completion percentages. They have the same number of interceptions and fumbles, which is crazy. They both have 8 INTs and 3 fumbles each.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets interesting. Stats versus common opponents. So they've each played 6 of the same teams. So in that category, relatively similar yards, like within 40 yards of each other.
Yep.
Relatively similar touchdowns. Stafford had 14 and Drake May had 13. But Stafford had 6 interceptions and May only had 3 against the same teams. The record against those opponents, Stafford was 4-2 against them. Those 6 teams, Drake May was 6-0. So against the same teams, Drake May has beaten all of them. And then this breaks it down even more. This is from the Pat McAfee show. Division title, Patriots won their division title. The Rams did not. Overall team record, Patriots 13-3 to the Rams 11-5. Total QBR, 76.5 for May. So pretty good. Stafford 70.1. So May's winning that too. And then strength of schedule. This is where it gets interesting. The Rams have had the 6th hardest schedule, which is pretty phenomenal then. The Stafford stats are that good. The Patriots have had historically easy schedule this year. They have the 32nd hardest schedule, so the easiest schedule in the league. And when you look in history, they actually are like up there with how easy their schedule has been. And if I don't quote me on this, but I think they've only beaten one team that still has a winning record, which was the Bills. So that's a lot to digest. What are your thoughts? First of all, just what are your thoughts on that? And then we could talk about who we think should win the MVP.
I mean, it just depends on how you define MVP. Like, it always
Same,
comes back
yeah,
to that. Is it the person that has the best stats on their team overall? Is it the person who has, the most wins with their team? Like, it's an individual award. And so that's where I think, to me, if you're trying to say someone's the most valuable, what that means is they put up the highest stats, because if you remove that person, those stats will not be there, right? Like if
yeah,
you replace them with someone else, the values may not be there. And don't get me wrong, I do think like record and wins matter. Like if you're, I don't know, if you throw for like 8,000 yards or some shit and your team wins like one game somehow, like should that person win the MVP? I don't know, because no matter how good you were, your team still sucked.
yeah.
So it just
Well,
always, to me, it always comes back to that.
let me counter the stats argument, and I'm not saying I fully disagree with that. But imagine a quarterback, because quarterbacks always win this stupid award. Imagine a quarterback that doesn't play well historically in the first quarter. So the team is always losing the damn football game. So they get a ton of high stats because they're always throwing the ball because they're always losing the game. And so there's a hypothetical there where I think that you do need to account for some other things, but certainly I would say that stats do need to be a part of the equation. And like in my opinion, you cannot argue that Joe Burrow was not the most valuable player to their team last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
So all that to say, do you think May or Stafford should get it this year?
I mean, if you're asking me, I think Stafford deserves it, but May also, just based on looking at the statistical comparison and how, I mean, it's very close. Like, it's not like Stafford's team's horrible and May's is way better.
Yeah.
They're so close in so many things, but Stafford has way more touchdowns, and I mean, he has more yards.
Well, more passing yards. He
has-
has less total yards.
Yeah, passing yards. I don't really care about the common opponent thing. Like, whatever. I mean, cool. Like, you can get into all these analytics.
The reason that the common opponent, I think, has a leg is because people keep complaining about the Patriots having an easy schedule. And so that shows you that with the same teams that they've played against, May has actually played better than Stafford during those games.
Yeah.
So like when the schedule is equal, May has been better. However, he's also been giving a favorable schedule the entire year compared to maybe those were Stafford's easiest 6 games. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's all, you can always analyze the shit out of everything. I will say my argument here, give it to Drake May. And there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, it's only his second season. He's on a team that did terrible last year. I think they only had 3 or 4 wins overall. And now they're right there at the top of the entire league. Give it to him for that reason, and for the reason that strength of schedule in NFL, in my opinion, should not matter for individual awards, because these are all professional teams that all have the same salary cap, that are all playing for money. This is a lot different than comparing high school or college teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know, but I mean, speaking of the NFL, do you want to do some picks for Week 18? Maybe give some people ideas of what we're thinking for a few of the games?
Let's do it, man. This is going to be a fun one. We got some big ones to choose from.
All right. I'll throw out a couple, and you let me know what you're thinking. Who do you think will win, Panthers, Bucks? I think the Bucks are 2.5 at home.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard, dude, because every fiber in my being wants to say the Bucks, but they have looked so bad recently. Even with people back, they're not all injured anymore. I'm going to ride the hot hand, the team with the momentum, and I'm going to go with the Panthers. So this sounds crazy. I would have never thought I would say that.
I like the Panthers as well, but I'm going to pick the Bucks because I think they'll have home field advantage. I don't know. They're one of those weird grindy teams that somehow finds a way to slip into the playoffs. So I think the Bucks will get it. But in other news, we have another awesome matchup between the Seahawks and the 49ers. And I think the 49ers are 1.5 on the lines.
This is, in my opinion, like my favorite game for the whole week. I can't wait. I hope I get to watch it. I think that Kyle Shanahan has flown under the radar this season as, in my opinion, it's an easy pick for Coach of the Year. They have had to deal with so many injuries on that team. There are so many big name injuries, and yet here they are, 1 win away from being the number 1 seed in the NFC. And I think they're going to do it. I think the team is mostly healthy now. They're still missing a couple big names like Bosa. We're not sure if Kittle's going to play. I think one of their tackles is still hurt. That's pretty good. But they are very hot right now. They're going to be at home for this game, and they're mostly healthy. Ricky Pearsall's looking good. They got Juwan Jennings looking like a wide receiver 1. Christian McCaffrey, he's questionable with some back injuries, but he'll play, and he's still CMC. And Brock Purdy has some swagger right now, dude. Did you watch the game this week against the Bears?
I didn't watch the game, but I saw some highlights.
Oh my
Wasn't he like
gosh.
dancing?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's feeling himself, man. And a confident Brock Purdy is a dangerous one. He's a really smart quarterback. I said a lot. Rubber stamp here is that the 49ers are going to win this game. Got him.
Give me the Seahawks.
Okay. I like it.
And your favorite matchup is the Ravens at the Steelers, with the Ravens are 3.5.
Yeah, this is whoever wins this game is going to have a quick exit from the playoffs. And give me the Ravens. I think the Steelers have lost their juice.
I think the Ravens are back. Derrick Henry clearly knows how to score 4 touchdowns, and he does it against the Steelers. Maybe not 4, but at least 1 or 2.
Isn't he supposed to fumble the football? Where was that in my fantasy football championship week? Why was that not the week he fumbled the ball?
He's
Come
in
on.
beast mode.
I get he is in beast mode.
All right, I'll throw you one more. Chargers at Broncos. The Broncos are minus 12.5, which is kind of crazy given the records.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's Broncos at home. The Chargers don't really have anything to play for. I think they're already locked. Hold on. Let me verify this. I think the Chargers are already locked for the playoffs. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're expecting some sitting of some starters.
Yeah, is it like all scrub players?
It's gotta be. That is a crazy. That's a college level spread right there. Yeah. So the Chargers.
You don't really see that often.
Chargers have already locked up the playoffs, but have not locked up. They cannot lock up a division win. They're kind of stuck in that wild card seed. So with that, the Broncos are still playing for a number 1 overall seed in the AFC because New England has the same record as them. So I think the Broncos will come out with their starters. One more thing. Let me check. And this is important. Anyone out there betting on sports, you got to check this too. Do they play at the same time? Because my question, the reason I asked that is because if let's say one of these teams plays before the other, that could change how the outcomes can dictate.
What's the other game that matters for them? Broncos is it the Patriots?
Patriots. So I'm trying to look right now.
Patriots
Broncos and Chargers play at 4:25. They all play at the same time. Okay, give me the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, since the Chargers they don't give a shit about this game, give me the Broncos to cover, just because I think they probably want the number 1, if I had to guess, for the bye and all that, and home field advantage and all that.
I think the bye matters a lot, and the Chargers clearly have nothing to play for this week. Nothing of substance. They're going to rest their starters. They're going to try, and especially because Herbert's been banged up. He's had like a hand injury. They're going to rest him. I guarantee he doesn't play, and so. Yeah, it's starting to make more sense why the spread is as big as it is.
Well, that I think it'll be interesting to see how week 18 comes out. When this releases too, we'll have college football playoffs ongoing. I know we did a bracket and such, so I'll be interested to see how that goes.
When is the next playoff game? Is it next week?
No, Wednesday and Thursday.
Shit.
Yeah, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So by the time this releases, we will know some results.
Well, let's just go for a real quick speed round then. Miami or Ohio State, Deeb?
Ohio State.
We're no spread because I don't know what it is.
No, Ohio State.
Also Ohio State. Oregon or Texas Tech?
Give me the Ducks.
Yeah, give me the Ducks too. I'm with you on that.
Well, I'm telling you what I picked in my bracket, to be fair.
Yeah, me too. Bama or Indiana?
I got Indiana, but I could see Bama pulling out a random upset, but give me Indiana.
I can't remember what I chose, but something is...
I think you picked Indiana.
Yeah, it's got to be Indiana. I just don't think Bama is consistent enough. And then big one here, Ole Miss and Georgia.
Georgia, easy.
Georgia. Yo, go Dogs. Dogs on top. That's it. That's what we're going to talk about this week. And then we'll maybe dive into the college football playoffs and the NFL playoffs more next week.
Sweet, Scott. Well, happy 2020. We will hopefully get to celebrate a little bit or do something fun. And we will catch everybody next week to see what the hell happened in the college football playoff and the NFL playoff picture.
Absolutely. Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to everybody else. Happy New Year. Can't wait to see what 2026 brings in sports.
Yep.